roller coaster moments with his career, in times where he looked really bad. Christian Leary was a guy that flashed in a spring game, similar to Jai Hall. Now his situation often played out differently, but no, not too big of a surprise of so far. Trayshawn may be the biggest.
Yeah, but you're saying that because that's the way of college football. I get that's the way of college football, but you have to ask yourself at Christian Leary. Okay, so explain Christian Leary from spring till now. Christian Leary not being here, I trace it back to coaching. He came here as a big time playmaker, big time wide receiver, big time recruit, and they moved him to running back and then didn't use him. So he lost a whole year. Then he looks like a potential playmaker in the spring and nothing. And you don't see him in the fall. So you look at, is that not once again right back at what a lot of people have been saying all year? Development by these coaches. Christian Leary, if Christian Leary, the sparks you saw of him couldn't get on the field, but we've not heard anything about him having attitude, could be. All right, so that's number one. Trayshawn Holden was a starter at the beginning of the year. Now he's out.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at now the Tanner Bowles and Damian George. I don't know that that's necessarily, like you say, a surprise. I think you will probably see Damian George out at Texas or something like that soon. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Tanner Bowles, I think you'll see him back up in Kentucky. I actually, small world, up in when Morgan was interning with the Arizona Cardinals as an athletic trainer. When we went to the Tennessee game, the two people I'm sitting beside were like from his hometown, and they were talking about him and that they were shocked that he left, but they were Bama fans, ironically, but they were shocked that he left Kentucky. So it'll be interesting to see with that. And then another guy, Kyrie Jackson, was a starter game one, right?
Yeah.
And he was a starter game one. And did he get hurt? What happened that made him not be of interest? But Xavier, I don't think you're saying you think these are just guys who had a disappointment in the season or injury or lack of playing time. But how many more guys did you see play other than the starters this year? How deep was our rotation?
I mean, I feel like at wide receiver, it ended deep. I mean, for a guy, you had guys like Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice come in during the summer, the same position that Christian Leary plays, and they performed better. Apparently, did, and maybe part of that is due to him splitting time at things of that nature. And Trayshawn, part of the reason he might have been a starter was his injury at the beginning of the season. And you look at Kyrie, starter if Eli Ricks had been healthy all season. So some of these guys might have been on where we thought they were going to be on the field due to guys not yet arriving at it.
Okay, let me ask you something. When you look at Leary was going against our first team defense all spring, making plays all spring. So you telling me did I see us run a speed sweep in the last game of the season at Xavier? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So you had and who did we use to run that?
JoJo?
No, we used a running back, Jamar Gibbs. I ain't talking
Yeah,
about
that's
just that. I ain't.
right.
We did one. We went the week before. JoJo, I think, fumbled. No, was it JoJo? I think it was
Yeah, it
JoJo.
was JoJo.
But I'm talking about in the Auburn game, Gibbs ran the speed sweep. Ran it a couple times, right? So last year you played Leary as a running back. This year you move him to wide receiver. You telling me you could not have found any point throughout the season to put that young man on the field? We saw what he did against our first team defense, which is supposed to be one of the best that Saban's had. You telling me you couldn't find any plays, even if he couldn't run a route? You thought he was good enough to be a running back last year. This year, you're moving back to wide receiver. You could call a speed sweep, and you couldn't get him on the field anywhere. You see what I'm saying? That's the craziness of what's happening with this.
No, coaching definitely plays a part into it, and the utilization of. But then the other part of that is a guy like Jameer Gibbs comes in and it is essentially a hybrid type of athlete who full-time wide receiver probably could have been. And so I think him coming in and would use a Leary, you have a more talented guy.
Xavier, we didn't do that to the end of the year, son. What I'm saying is we did that against Auburn. There was 11 games. You put Gibbs at running back. You put Leary at wide receiver. If you understand the portal, if you understand the impact of the portal, and that's going to be what? Guys are going to leave if they don't get to play. Hey, listen, I'm not worried about losing a guy that I hadn't seen with any skill set. But this is a guy who and this is the A-Day. I'm not talking about A-Day. Leary did this in scrimmages. Leary did this when in practice, when guys were fighting for positions. And all I'm saying is, Xavier, you don't have to run. Dude, we played La Monroe. We played Austin Peay. We played those teams, and none of these guys got to play. That's coaching. That's a problem when you know that the portal looms, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is yeah, Jameer Gibbs is better than Leary. But you telling me you couldn't put Gibbs on the field at running back and put Leary out there at any point this season and run a speed sweep? That's all I'm saying. Is sometimes your creativity is because you're not good offensively, okay? And you have to try to trick people. Sometimes your creativity is that you want to confuse the defense, right? Other times your creativity is about how can I get people on the field and get them a touch, okay? Have you watched the San Francisco 49ers play football?
Yes.
Okay. Who's their second best running back now that McCaffrey? It may be the best, even with McCaffrey on the team.
Deebo Samuels.
What positions does Deebo play?
He's a wide receiver by trade.
Right. So to make sure that the best players or players that you want to keep engaged touch the ball, Shanahan puts in plays where if they cover Deebo Samuels, I'm still going to get the ball to him by either running a bubble screen or handing the ball off to him, right? You watch Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a big tight end. He doesn't catch a lot of passes, right? You know what they did to lock him in? to keep him excited?
No, I haven't watched much of
He's a
it.
quarterback sneak guy. He's a quarterback sneak guy, Xavier. They'll put him in, and man, they run that quarterback sneak with the tight end. That's all. When David Palmer was here, even Mal Moore and Gene Stallings with their so-called uncreative football would do what? Everybody talks about how stubborn Stallings was and how uncreative compared to this year's offensive staff and in the number of weapons they had compared to what we had. We may have ran a lot of the staple stuff because we were going to, Coach Stallings' philosophy was, God admire them, man, run it till they stop it. And when they stop it, run it one more time just in case you got lucky, right? But we had David Palmer at Wildcat before there was a such thing as they call Wildcat. We had David Palmer at wide receiver. We had David Palmer in the slot. We had him outside. We ran the speed sweep. We ran the bubble sweep. We ran reverses. We did all those things to get the ball in his hand. That's what we did. So, that's the beauty of what you can do as a coach. There's transfer portal woes. I'm not sure they're over. Let's go ahead and get the break here. I'm gonna let you come back and respond and to the transfer portal woes, and we'll keep that conversation going. Hey, listen, if you're out there, you want to get in on the conversation, you can get in at 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. And Alabama One, hey, we're doing it the right way, man. We have a great program going on right now. A refer a friend. You get 10, they get 10. Just tell them to come become a member of Alabama One. And when they open that qualifying account and or get a loan and you refer them, we're going to put 10 in your account, 10 in their account. Just go to alabama1.org and refer a friend. We take care of it. All you need to do is give us just a little bit of information and we'll do the rest. That's Alabama One together, asking you, what's your one?
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we start.
Hey, my bad, Martin. We're here now. We've got everything going properly. So your phones are open, X is online, your audio recording's going, all of it.
Tickets are $15 on pre-sale, $20 night of the show. Group rates are available. For more details, tap the free Tide 100.9 app.
Thank you very much.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today. Tuscaloosa's high 59. For tonight, fair, not as cold as last night, the low 41. Tomorrow, partially sunny, the high 66. And Saturday, a mostly cloudy day with occasional showers, the high Saturday 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 33 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Hey, listen, it's been an interesting morning already. Berger Williams saying coaching is costing us several players this year. This is what I was worried about. We're not using our young players when we get games in hand. Those backups aren't going to stay if they can't get any playing time to improve. The transfer portal is causing some head scratching, says Chuck Hunt. And Curtis Moore says, based off your message, Martin, Coach Saban and Bill O'Brien were just stubborn all season. Don't want to put words in your mouth, assuming stuff. But if this is the case, then I agree with you. I think the GOAT and Bill O'Brien were stubborn. Coach Saban did say all plays called and vetted through him. X, you can't look at this team and say there was no chance or no opportunity to get more players. We've talked about development and guys not going. Let's think about this. Who was the best linebacker who were the best linebackers from Alabama's team last year?
From 2021?
Yeah, who were the best linebackers?
Yeah, Toto. Of course, Will in Dallas.
All right, I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah.
Shane Lee and Drew Sanders. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
have you watched Shane Lee play this year?
Yeah, I have. I mean,
he looks so blocky. Of course, so Christian Harris. But but you see what I'm saying? I was being funny with that. But think about those two guys, right? And supposedly Saban wanted to move Drew Sanders to inside linebacker, and he couldn't convince him to move. That speaks to me.
That.
Huh?
I don't believe that.
But that speaks, if it's true, that speaks to me, right? That speaks to me the fact that Saban couldn't convince a guy that he was doing what was best for him and that playing inside linebacker. And then he goes to Arkansas and they move him to inside linebacker and he's like all world. But was it maybe how they handled him last year? Was it maybe the fact that he lost his job while he's injured, which is a no-no? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like
you're right.
Drew was not playing bad football. Now that don't mean that Dallas would not have beaten him out. Okay, let's watch how they played Will Anderson and Drew this year. Okay. How many times did you see Will Anderson off the field and Dallas on the field? And I said that wrong. How they played Dallas and Will. My point behind that, X, is so last year you couldn't figure out how to split time between Drew Sanders and Dallas Turner. You couldn't figure out how to get Chris Braswell on the field at all last year. How much did you see Chris Braswell play last year?
Very little.
Very little. So you know, when you look at this, it's like our development process, our playing the young guys process, all of these things that goes into it are just being magnified by the fact now that you got NIL and transfer portal, which last year we ended up with 19 guys, I think, 18 or 19 guys in the portal. And we just named 2 that we know would have made this team better.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of them guys that we don't care about, we say we don't care about those other guys, X. But you know what happens when you lose guys like Drew Sanders and Shane Lee and these other guys? You know what happens?
It sends a message to the younger guys that, hey, that if you're not going to go play, go somewhere else and get on that field.
Right, but watch this, what else it does. Where have we always talked about Alabama got better at? At practice, right? So now instead of a left tackle practicing against Drew Sanders, he was practicing against, a true freshman that may be talented, but not anywhere at a second or third year guy. So now you're going to have you don't have the numbers, number one, as far as practice. And then when you get the numbers, your percentage where you used to have, your freshman class is always your biggest class because attrition kind of happens. But now you're going to have this group of seniors and then you're going to have this group of freshmen or a group of upper class, but you're not going to have a lot in between. And then therefore they don't know the culture, they don't know the practice, they don't know the intensity, they don't know what's required, they don't give as good a look, and all of that multiplies. We used to talk about the impact Alabama practice had on how good they were. You used to hear the guys say, man, the best guy I was going to play against all year was the guy I practiced against. When you start losing these guys because they go somewhere else and play, it impacts you on Saturday. When you don't have the same intensity, you don't have the same numbers, and there's a gap between your first stringer and your second stringer because you have a third-year guy and a true freshman, then you're not as physical in practice because of the drop-off. Georgia Bulldogs, they say they still run practice the way Saban used to. I don't know if that's true or not, but they didn't have a bunch of guys come in from the portal and league. And now, if you're a wide receiver and you didn't get on the field, X, what do you think is going to happen this offseason?
Same thing.
I'm gonna go get a transfer guy. If you're Christian Leary is thinking, well, they're recruiting these guys, but the history shows me that he's going to go out and try to find another wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and find somewhere that wants me. It's always better to be where you want it versus just being where it's okay to have you, and that's gonna impact. Hey guys, on the phone, I apologize. We're right up against the break. We got to get recruiting guru Hank South in with us in the third quarter. We'll work through him pretty quick and then get you guys on the other side, or you can ask a question for Hank, or you can hold on to the fourth quarter and we'll get to you. But hey, this is the Martin Hughes Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. And radio dial. We'll be back in a moment with Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
I'm Kim Rankin with your Tide Sports Update. 3 more Alabama football players have entered the transfer portal. The Alabama Crimson Tide football team is ranked number 6 in this week's college football playoff rankings. The Philadelphia Eagles are creating a Christmas album for the holiday season. 3 Alabama alums received NFL Weekly honors.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update. Run it again! For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a major crash 2059 eastbound at mile marker 82 headed out toward Mercedes. Multi-vehicles involved. Emergency crews are on the scene. You could expect serious delays. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan wants to say Merry Christmas to you in the special way of giving you a great deal on a new or used vehicle. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
You know what happens in a plasma chamber?
Big stuff. Science stuff.
Diamonds. I'm Tom Osmond. Fincher & Osmond Jewelers carries artisan-created diamonds.
Earth and human safe.
And bigger. Lots bigger.
Fincher & Osmond diamonds from the mines or artisan-created diamonds.
They're all diamonds.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
FincherandOsmond.com, a little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Work is a part of all of us. We know that the world around us has changed, and that's why the Alabama Department of Labor is here to get you back to working hard. Work is a part of all of us. Let us help you get back to it by visiting your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, ETA, and Federal WIOA, and Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by this station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We're Martin and Xavier. As we kick off the third quarter, we are joined by Hank South of 247 Sports Bama Online Recruiting on the Alabama One hotline. The recruiting guru, the man himself, Hank South. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, we're still trying to get Hank.
Okay.
All right, that's right.
Big recruiting weekend. Of course, Iron Bowl is always a big one. So we'll talk about that when we get them on. But we also have to talk about, as you were talking, the recruiting and the transfer portal. When you're talking about wide receivers, the 2020 and 2021 class signed 7 wide receivers. 4 of those guys have already transferred. You have Javon Baker, who is at Central Florida, at Jai Hall, who's at Texas, and then, of course, Trayshawn Holden and Christian Leary. How big of an impact do you think those guys leaving are for the future guys, as well as the fact that we're going to the portal for J-Mo, Burton, and guys like Tyler Harrell?
Well, it kind of gets back to what I was saying earlier, X, is are you creating a reputation that you're going to go to the portal to find your playmakers at a position? And so now think about that. We have the freshman from last year, and other than that, we have who's left on the team? Who are the three guys? Huh?
You got Ty Jones Bell, who I expect to transfer. You have Ja'Cory Brooks.
Okay.
Earl. Those are the three guys remaining.
Right. So JoJo will be back, and he'll play. Brooks will play, but man, I looked at Brooks when Brooks, I on the kickoff return that he recovered, a true explosive wide receiver would have took that to the house. He didn't even look. I'm not trying to be ugly. He didn't look like explosive. You know what I mean? Like as he was running that, I'm like, man, he's good, but he's not elite. He's not. It was just interesting. That was very telling to me when I was watching that in terms of just how unathletic. He didn't look unathletic, you know what I mean? But just the fact that it didn't jump off the page at me when he was doing that. So, but yeah, I think that's a problem, X, because now you're gonna have those guys as seniors, right? And then the next set of guys, I think the reason you probably saw Law play, the reason you probably saw, I don't know what happened with Prentice. He started off the year and it looked like Prentice got worse as the season went along versus better. But Prentice, he played a lot less, wasn't as much as a dynamic receiver as he was early in his career. Maybe that was competition. I don't know what it was, but either way, and then you have Bond. So those guys showed a little bit of that, and they have the potential to be like the class we had a few years back in terms of playmaking ability. But the difference is they don't have any upperclassmen like those guys had that were elite. That makes sense.
Yeah. They don't have the Calvin Ridley, or when you talk about guys like Mechie and Waddle coming in, they don't have the Jerry Jeudy, the Henry Ruggs, or the Devontae Smith above them to push them.
Right. So it's easy that you could see Baker, JoJo, and then sophomores and freshmen.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about, that gap, right?
Yeah.
And so guys are going to be playing next year that may or may not be ready to play. So
yeah, and that is big on what you're talking about as far as that gap widening, because you have two guys that have played a good amount of football in JoJo and Brooks, and then you've got a bunch of freshmen or sophomores next year that have played a handful, and then you even got a guy like Aaron Anderson who was hurt this year that looked like a guy that was going to be a superstar, a guy that could work his way into that mold.
Was he hurt?
Huh?
Yeah. Was he hurt all year?
I mean, he had the knee injury coming out of spring, and then they said he wasn't cleared until last 4 or 5 games.
So anyway, it's not. I think Curtis Moore said, of course, we have the Benson kid coming in, who is supposed to be, the second coming. But once again, what is he? He's a JUCO guy. That was that was what? Is that a JUCO guy? The transfer portal is just a new JUCO guy. It's just just more of them in the transfer portal. Huh?
No, I mean, it's a pretty accurate assessment as far as this a guy that was somewhere else, got a little bit of experience, played some, got to grow a little bit as the player that's now going somewhere else.
Yeah. Have you talking about recruiting? have we haven't signed our quarterback yet, right? How many quarterbacks we got right now?
Coming back or for
we got Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, right?
Yep.
And I have said it and I've heard it, but now I'm beginning to see it on national TV about Drake May. Have you heard that?
I have heard it, and it's a good rumor.
It's not a good rumor.
True.
Watch it. Do it now.
It's a good rumor, but I just don't know if it's true.
But it's a horrible rumor. It's a horrible rumor, Xavier. If I'm Eli Holstein, I'm not signing on December 13th with Alabama.
I wouldn't blame you.
Right? If I'm Eli Holstein's dad, I'm going, is this rumor about Drake May true? Son, you need to be investigating that. You're an elite player that can go anywhere you want to go. And if Nick Saban's going to go out and get a guy, and supposedly he told him to do that. Supposedly, and I don't know if that's true or not, because that sounds so crazy to me. But think about this, X. JUCO is what? Hey, you're either academically not ready or physically not quite ready. Go somewhere, build yourself up, get your grades right, get bigger, whatever, for a couple of years. Then we're going to bring you back in as an older player and put you on scholarship.
Yeah.
Because you went somewhere else and got more playing experience. You know that you can use the portal the same way.
Yeah, you can.
You can literally tell a kid, hey, stay at your home state school for a couple of years, then we'll bring you back.
And the thing about it is, from that standpoint, I don't know if I would tell my son if I was Eli or Dylan to sign until I know what's going on. But if I'm Drake May's dad, I'm telling my son not to enter the portal, talk about going to Bama, anything like that, until I know you've got a new offensive coordinator that is better at designing plays and getting guys involved. Because if Bill O'Brien's coming back, I'm not telling my son if he's Drake May to come to Alabama.
But why would Drake May come to Alabama?
At this point, with what he's done in North Carolina, I don't know. He's a legacy. His dad was a quarterback there. His brothers played basketball there. I'm not coming anyway.
So if that rumor doesn't have any teeth to it, why wouldn't you come out and say, hey, I'm staying at North Carolina? That's just my thoughts on it. Hey, we actually, I don't think we ever get Hank, so let's go ahead and get Todd. Todd, you're on with Martin Houston and Xavier Houston on the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir? Hello, Todd. All right.
Seems like we lost Todd.
All right. Is Chuck still there?
Yeah, we got Chuck.
Hello?
Hey, Chuck. How you doing? Welcome to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
All right. Can you all hear me?
Chuck, we can hear you. Yes, Chuck, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. All right.
No, hey, listen. When we bring you on, just start talking. We'll let you know if we can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was chiming in with what you all have been talking about with the transfer portal. Yeah, it's been quite a situation here. I had to explain transfer portal to my parents and let them know about it in athletics because I said it's quite different from what you all remember. Coaches, coming to the high schools looking for players and all. I said you don't see that anymore. I told them what that portal is all about. I told them it's the college version of free agency and like free agency and pro sports. That's the college version of it. I was just telling them about it. They had a head scratching moment about that.
Yeah, Chuck. Well, when you look at it, Chuck, it's actually more Wild West than free agency, because there's only there are some restrictions around the when, what, and how, more restricted than even college in the NFL. The free agency, at least they did limit it a little bit, but it's going to be impactful, to say the least. Like when a kid puts his name in the portal, the team does not have to take them back.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, if a guy in the NFL is a free agent, he's a free agent because other teams want him, but his current team wants him as well. So, in the free agency world, it's usually a guy who his current team wants him, but his contract is ending. This is a guy in college, Chuck, that was not was either not playing, not doing too good, or wanted a change, and has to go tell his coach, "Hey, I don't want to play for you anymore, so I'm going to go somewhere else for the exact same thing." In other words, I'm going to go somewhere else for a scholarship. So that's a slap in your face as a coach in a program. Where in the NFL, if the Cowboys come after me and I'm with the Browns, then I'm not just going to a team that may be better. I'm also going to get paid more.
That's true. You're exactly right. You summed it up real well, and that's why I said it's, you hear in the transfer portal too much, and there are a lot of people, like I said, you get those from the past generations hearing this. They said they're not going to get such a ties to us, and they're not doing that now. And see, my mother's a retired educator, and she remembers those days when the coach used to come out to the high school where she retired from, and other places, and look at players and all. But I said, you're not seeing that too much nowadays.
Yeah, and the other part that Curtis Lewis pointed out is they actually don't even have to tell the coach; they just have to inform the university, whoever they designate. They just have to inform them. And so I told people I may would have transferred if I didn't have to go talk to Coach Stallings. But just the fact that I had to go sit down and call from Coach Stallings, my early years, I may would have been like, "Hey, I'm out of here." If I could have just said, I'm going to just throw my name in his hat and let somebody know. But the fact that I had to go sit down and talk with him and ask him for permission probably kept me on. So, all right, be good, Chuck. Thank you, sir.
All right, you.
Appreciate that, Chuck. Thanks for that insight there. And hey, listen, the portal is changing the game. I think the portal, in my opinion, X, and we can talk about this on the other side. My opinion, the portal has had more impact than NIL. I thought the NIL it's the biggest change, but I think that the portal has probably impacted the on the field product more than anything. Let's have that conversation on the other side, and you can wrap up the recruiting thoughts as well. More conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a major crash, 2059 eastbound at mile marker 82, headed out toward Mercedes. Multi-vehicles involved. Emergency crews are on the scene. You could expect serious delays. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan wants to say Merry Christmas to you in the special way of giving you a great deal on a new or used vehicle. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Thursday morning. Damage assessments in Hale County have found 10 homes destroyed, 20 others damaged. All of that along Oak Village Road. That was an F1 tornado that struck the area. The same one that had earlier hit Greene County. That's where it took the roof off of an apartment building and damaged 6 other homes. Power company crews worked into the night last night to restore power, all of which is now back on. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free. I'm Don Herkley. Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Town Square Media, along with Spiller Furniture and Townsend Nissan, want to see your holiday spirit in lights. Neighborhoods are shining bright this Christmas thanks to the countless hours it took you to wrap your trees and bushes and outline every peak and gable of your house with lights. If you've lit up your house in any way, we want to see it and share it with the rest of Alabama. All submissions will be qualified to win $1,000. So when your house is lit up, go outside and snap a pic and send it to us on our free app, sponsored also by Hudson Pool Fine Jewelers and Townsend Honda. Let's light up West Alabama this Christmas.
Hi, it's Chris Stewart. Make this holiday season an adventure and get an incredible deal at Townsend Honda. Shop Ford, Nissan, BMW, Chevrolet, Jeep, Lexus, and more. Celebrate Happy Honda Days at Townsend Honda and find fuel-efficient vehicles backed with a certified pre-owned warranty. Put a little holiday cash in your pocket. Make no payments until spring of 2023. Plus, we want to buy your car even if you don't buy from us. Happy Honda Days from all of us at Townsend Honda.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, good morning. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Top 100.9. Hey, don't forget about Alabama One Insurance. If you got that new vehicle or you're looking to get a new vehicle, or if you have that brand new home or renovate that home or add it on, remodel your home, your value may have gone up, make sure that they're all properly insured. Alabama One Insurance can help you with that. You can check them out at alabamaoneinsurance.org, alabamaoneinsurance.org. .com, I'm sorry, alabamaoneinsurance.com, or you can call 205-342-0112. All right. Hey, X, you probably can't see it, but I pulled up a picture, a recruiting picture, and I just kind of glanced at, I don't even know who some of these guys are, but I can tell you that there's quite a few of them that are no longer here. That are in this image, but they should be. I think it's a class from about 2 or 3 years ago. The likes of Coach Bryant's grandson, Amari Kite, Tanner Bowl, just to name a few. Interesting picture. That would be an interesting thing to go back and look at just how depleted some of the recruiting classes are. Hey, X, before we get a couple closing thoughts, we do have a caller that called in. So let's get to Bishop. Bishop, you're on with the Martin Hughes Show with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir? Is Bishop there?
Bishop has disappeared as well.
All right. X, I'll talk to you. We were talking about the recruiting. Any closing thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Hugh Freeze can do with some of these in-state kids over these last 2 weeks or so before early signing day, which in my opinion is the new national signing day because that seems to be when most kids sign and everything. But it'll be interesting to see if he's able to flip some of these kids or pull some of these kids that have been up in the air between Alabama and Auburn, like a Quay Russaw and James Smith.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward from a recruiting standpoint. Will Hugh Freeze present an interesting option for offensive talent. I don't know that he will impact defensive talent per se, but will he impact, the offensive talent standpoint because of the way he runs offenses and things like that. I think this is a critical junction for Alabama football. As I told someone, I said, I don't think the dynasty is necessarily over, but I don't think we've ever headed into an offseason with as many questions as we have. And you have to think about this. The frustration of all of the questions that we have, and we can talk about this more tomorrow because we'll be on the eve of Championship Saturday. If this Alabama team doesn't make it to the playoffs, which is very unlikely, will we see a mass exodus of other young guys, or will we see young guys stick it out to fight and jockey for position for next year? Because that's what this bowl game is going to become. When you see the guys jumping out and leaving. So we got to get out of here. But I give you a quick closing thought, sir.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see how this playoff or this bowl season goes, especially if we don't make it in, to see the competition that's going to be there in multiple positions, which I hope these guys stay and fight and can compete to see who can be on the field next year.
Yeah, and all Alabama fans better hold off on this Ty Simpson beats Jalen Milroe out conversation before we see Ty Simpson throw more than 6 passes, because we could be in a situation where we have Ty Simpson and then just these other guys that may or may not sign with us. So could be an interesting time at Alabama, but we'll keep you covered right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide out there, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a major crash, 2059 eastbound at mile marker 82, headed out toward Mercedes. Multi-vehicles involved. Emergency crews are on the scene. You could expect serious delays. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan wants to say Merry Christmas to you in the special way of giving you a great deal on a newer